1 second. Welcome to Surrounded by Sports. I am your host, Kevin Perkins, and this is Lexi Alexander, Coach Worrell, Danny Worrell. These are the head coach of Pace High School, nationally prominent softball program, and the assistant coach, and father and daughter as well. And I think we have everything in store for us today on this show, all the good stuff. We have family, community involvement, helping kids figure out how to get through life, through sports, through the lessons that sports can teach you and all that. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
Sounds good? Okay, yeah. So, full disclosure, you guys are from Milton originally, right? You were a head coach at Milton, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so that's kind of, there's a little bit of...
Slightly. Yeah, so growing up, I born and raised in Milton, Florida. He was born and raised in Milton, Florida. My mom born and raised in Milton, Florida. Her entire family, so when this job came available and it was Pace, we were like, oh, we can't do that.
Right.
Like just growing up, you hate each other, but then once you get over here and all the people that we knew growing up are over here as well. So it's not that bad once you get over here and realize, they're just people too, and they're a good community as well. And once you kind of get the Milton Pace mindset out of your brain, then it's not that bad over here.
Right.
Not what people think.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, and two, the community, to me, because I'm on the outside looking in, I'm a Cantonment guy, right? Mm-hmm. And so to me, they're different sides of the same coin. The communities love their school. They believe in the school a lot, and that's great. They, as you can see, I was talking about this with the Tate coach the other day. Having your whole outfield filled up with people that sponsor, that's not every school you go to. Community involvement isn't always like that. In Milton, you get community involvement. In Pace, you get. That's exactly why it was weird for you to put on red, white, and blue, right? Mm-hmm. Unless it was like the 4th of July or something.
Yeah. Well, I kind of had to do that whenever I went to college because I went to South Alabama and they were red, white, and blue.
Yeah, right,
and so
right,
everybody was teasing me at first, but I was like, it's USA, it's patriotic. So.
Yeah, right. That's lucky. Yeah. All right. So we're going to talk about all kind of stuff and more after this.
You are watching Surrounded by Sports, a podcast hosted by Kevin Perkins. This show emphasizes how sports and life intersect while showcasing the Gulf Coast. And now, Surrounded by Sports.
Welcome back, folks. Again, I'm Kevin Perkins. This is Lexi Alexander. This is Danny Worrell. And we are going to talk through this show about her development into a head coach, how her unique environment as having 2 coaches for parents, correct? Mm-hmm. Helped her develop into a coach, and also what Danny has observed, how Danny comes back to it. And then we're going to get into talking about this year's ball club, which I've gotten an opportunity to see a little bit. They're fantastic. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And so we're going to get on all that. But right now we're going to go into your background a little bit. Now, 2 coaches at the house. That seems intense.
Yes. So my mom originally, she at first didn't really know a whole lot about golf. We lived on a golf course and grew up, and one day I was just told my parents, hey, I want to go try golf, and they were like, okay, we're getting you clubs and we're going to start you playing. And Milton didn't even really have a team, and so she got the job when I was in 8th grade, right? And she got girls, she got interest in playing, she got some softball girls, hey, come play golf, just come play, we just need a team. And so then whenever I got into high school, my family always jokes with her that she's the best snack and water girl around, but really she did her research on it, and she's not just going to come out there and be the water girl. She made us do drills, had stuff for all of us to do. She made us qualify. Nothing that was given to me was unearned. I had to work just as hard as everybody else. And the thing about my 2 parents is that they never gave me and my sister anything.
Right.
We had to work for everything that we earned. And, a lot of people get a bad rep for, oh, you're the coach's kid. But I can promise you it is the complete opposite for him. It's the complete opposite for my mom. And I always tell the girls now, like, we'd be shagging in the outfield, and there's a ball over in left field, and I'm standing in right field, and there's 15 girls in between me, and my dad would holler, Lexi, go get that ball. and so it's always funny. He always makes sure to tell us, like, you don't give your kid anything. If anything, you're twice as hard on them. And
Right.
that's exactly how it always was. And with golf, numbers don't lie.
Right.
So it was kind of easy for my mom. Hey, you're playing 1 this day, you're playing 2 this day. Some days it'd be 3,
Right, right.
And
you got a scholarship in golf.
I did. I went to South Alabama and played and ended up winning a conference championship my senior year. So that was kind of a good way to
Right.
go out in 2019.
It's funny because I never once, when I saw that you were a coach, 2 coaches, child, I never once thought of being given anything. I immediately thought, oh boy, that's a lot of pressure. To me, because I don't. The giveaway is you guys were successful. You won a regional. You did well at Milton, right? If you were getting things given to you, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and when my dad and Coach Johnny Norton took over, Coach Johnny's also on our coaching staff, but he's just a volunteer coach for us. But he took over when I was in 9th grade, and I was on JV my 9th and 10th grade year for softball, and then y'all went 20-5 the first year with Katie Worrell? 21 games with him and Johnny as head coach. And so, he's not going to say this, but he's been successful everywhere he's been. And,
right.
He's a great coach, and he's what I learned everything from. So, then whenever I became junior, senior year, we won district back-to-back. And
catcher.
Sort of, yes.
Okay.
So, my sister was more the catcher than me.
Okay.
And I'll give her the credit for that. But my 8th grade year, I was playing travel ball, and, we kind of had a catching situation, and Dad told the coach, put Lexi back there, just try it and see how she does. And I was terrified my first. And I think the first time I did it was in Panama City, where we actually go play some tournaments now, and I caught and did well enough to stay in the catcher's position. So, but my 9th and 10th grade year on JV, I pitched, and I played third. And I knew that I wasn't good enough to be a pitcher on the varsity level, and I was okay with that. But we needed somebody to throw strikes, and I wasn't the only pitcher on my 9th and 10th grade team. But whenever I became junior, senior, I played the outfield. And my junior year, we had somebody get hurt, so I played center. And then my senior year, I played right. And then at the end of the year, we were playing pace and districts. And I had caught a little bit during the year, but I wasn't the starting catcher because there was somebody who was better than me there. But she also played short. And come district time, we were just making a bunch of errors in the field. And Dad comes over to me and, Lexi, go gear up. And I was like, okay, it's a district championship, but all right, I guess so. And so I geared up, went and caught at the bullpen, and finished catching the year out, which was fun. I loved catching, and
right.
It's a lot of fun.
That's a unique relationship too. You with your pitcher and also with the coach. It's a more intimate relationship. I think the coach catcher relationship is more intimate than, say, coach first baseman or whatever. Yeah.
You work more with your pitchers, catchers. You work more with your pitchers, catchers as a coach than you do anybody, because you're down in the bullpen with them, everywhere with them. And Lexi don't give herself enough credit. She did a great. She was coordinated. Both my kids very fortunate, very coordinated. And so, like she said, right before district championship, we at the shortstop missed about 10 balls in a row during warm-ups. Said, hey, our assistant coaches came over and said, we got to move Lexi back. I know you don't want to do it because it's your kid. We got to move her. I said, hey, you're catching. We ended up beating Pace 5-1 district championship and moved on.
Right.
It was pretty huge.
Absolutely. It's and also tricky to get the call to go back there 10 minutes before the game starts.
Not the ideal situation. That's true.
Yeah.
Right. But see, okay, we talk about how you try to build things, right? And kids have to learn how to deal with adversity and change and all these other things. And there was a scenario, right, where no matter what the result wound up being, you were handed a difficult scenario, you attacked that scenario, and then when it was over, you evaluate and you move forward, which is what life is, in a lot of ways. Now, tell me, what kind of coach were you, do you think? 'Cause I think you played pro softball, is that correct?
I did, slow pitch.
Yeah, right.
Very fortunate, got to play all over the country playing slow pitch softball. Been to Canada, been to Los Angeles, been to Portland, Oregon, been to Detroit, Michigan. And I've been fortunate, won several national championships playing slow pitch softball and played with some great teams and great guys. And so, I grew up loving softball. I mean,
Right.
my goal when I was in high school wasn't to play college baseball. It was to play pro, softball, super
Oh,
open softball,
okay.
pro softball. And luckily, I was fortunate to do it. A guy across the street from me used to be the head coach here at Pace. Curtis Williams, he kind of said, hey, we need a shortstop on a team out of Atlanta. And he got me the call. And so I did that. And that's why, when Lexi was born, I started trying to weed out of it, because I'd fly out Friday afternoon at 12 o'clock, and I wouldn't get home Sunday night till 11 o'clock every week
Right.
during softball season. And so I had to have a very understanding wife, and she was, and a good family, but I didn't want to miss my kids growing up. So, but I stayed doing that about 16 years. you
Right.
know.
So what kind of coach do you think, like, what kind of coach were you, do you think, like, how to put it?
Demanding.
Right, correct. That's the question. Yeah.
But I feel like I'm very caring. I think the kids know that I love them. I push the heck out of kids. I really do.
Right.
I just think kids, there's accountability. Win and lose, and accountability starts with wins and losses.
Right.
Whether people like it or not. And a lot of people, hey, I've known you all my life. Why is my kid not starting? I've had people tell me that before. I had one guy tell me, my daughter's spending out over your house, and she's not starting. I said, she's about 130 something. The kid in front about 400.
I get it. Yeah.
That's stuff, right? Yeah. But I've always loved kids, and I love sports, and I think they know them all. I think a kid knows when you care about them.
Yeah.
And Lexi can tell you, I've been fortunate to have 2 Division I athletes, her sister and her. But I was demanding on them, but I never did anything I felt like overboard. I know some parents probably are, but I did push them, But I wouldn't say, you're going to that golf course today, you're going to softball field today. Never did that. I think you can't do that. They would say, Dad, let's go throw some softballs, and I'd go out there any time.
Right.
If I got out and work and was tired, they said, Dad, I want to pitch today. I'd go out in the yard and pitch with them.
Is that a key to being a parent, is to make sure they're the ones that say they want to do it?
I think so. You can steer them that way. I don't get me wrong. I didn't want mine, cheerleading. My wife used to be a cheerleading sponsor before she was a golf coach.
Okay.
My number one fear, because they grew up, hey, Milton cheerleaders and
Right,
everything,
right.
My wife. So I knew I was going to have to fight that battle. Well, Lexi luckily cheered one year and said, Dad, I don't really like it. I said, thank goodness.
Right.
And then my other the same way. And so they both played 3 sports in high school, which is unheard of nowadays. But we were out in the yard always doing something. They didn't come in and get on, social media and stuff like that. And watch TV. We got out in the yard every day.
Right.
And I
Right.
think, and I was there with them. I think parental involvement's very huge. And you hit the nail on the head, Kevin, earlier. I think the community's here. I guess you went to Tate. The community there is great. The community of Milton's great. The community of Pace is great. There's a lot of expectations, and I don't mind that, because
Right.
I'm the kind of guy. And I told her, I said, you ever start out losing, have a losing record? Go find that athletic director and tell them, they need to find another coach. You're not doing the job. That's just our philosophy. I think success breeds success, and we've been very fortunate to keep it going here at Pace.
Right. Absolutely. Now, when did you think she could be a coach?
Honestly, and I'm not saying this to brag on her, I think she can do anything she wants, because she's a very responsible kid.
Right.
She's a loving kid. She loves whatever she does. You put her in a job, she's going to do it 100%.
Right.
And she's very responsible. And a lot of that probably comes more from the mom side than my side.
Right.
My wife and this family's very. They get up, they cut grass, they do all the stuff, whatever. And Lexi will do whatever you ask her to do. She really will. When she took the job, to be honest with you, and she knew it. I felt like it's a big time job, and a little green.
It is. This is one of the best programs. Before you got here,
Yeah.
The job wasn't, I need to get this program up and running.
That's right.
The job was, I need to go from constantly nationally ranked to winning state.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's one thing to try to be pretty good. It's another thing to try to win the last game of the year. Those are
Absolutely.
2 different standards.
People do not understand that, Kevin. The year we won the state, there were 4 teams in our bracket, including us, that were in the top 15 in the country.
That's right.
That's not Florida.
Right.
That's how tough it was. Everybody we played down there was 28-1. We were the
Right.
only team down there with 2 losses. We lost to Orange Beach both times that year.
Right.
And so parents, we may not win state this year. I said, yeah. And I think that pressure that Jaden and Shelby and all them had on them to win the state was unreal. And Lexi and me, I feel like she did a really good job of just, hey, don't think about winning state. We're going to relax. We're going to play our game.
Right.
Whatever happens, we're going to win state. And then we went down there and shut both teams out and ended up winning the state championship. But, everybody thinks you should have won 4 or 5 state championships by now. The previous coach, I think they kind of gave him a lot of heat for not winning state. And they didn't even get the state championship game. I'm like, y'all don't realize how hard it is. When you get Final Four, there's not 3 cupcakes down there along with you. There's 3 great teams.
Yeah.
Tate's had great teams over the year, and I think they've got 1 state champion.
Right.
Niceville, same way, 1 state champion. Yeah,
Right.
Pace is fortunate to have two. Curtis Williams won one in 07, and then we won one in 24.
Right.
Yeah, it's just
right.
tough.
When did you decide you thought you could be a coach?
Just a coach
Yeah.
or a head coach?
First, when did you decide coaching and teaching was your route? Because I think you wound up at Jay for a little bit, right?
Yes. So I always knew that I wanted to be a teacher, and I think that comes from growing up with a family of teachers. And, you know, my ton of my mom's side, my mom for sure was a teacher at Milton for 30-something years. And, you know, a bunch of her siblings were teachers. A bunch of my dad's siblings, cousins are teachers. I got a cousin here. But I was just content with being an assistant coach. And I was very fortunate that my sister was playing the All-Star game at PSC or wherever they were playing it at the time. And Coach Watson, Brian Watson and Jay was coaching with him. They were the two coaches. And he said, does Lexi want to coach? And Dad was like, yeah, I'm sure she would. And at this time I was teaching kindergarten at Berry Hill Elementary.
Okay.
And so I was like, yeah, sure. Let's do it. I was like, I have a lot to learn, but I can hit some fungo, and whatever you need me to do, I'll just come up there and do it. And,
Right.
the drive wasn't that bad, but I was leaving at 2:30 every day from Berry Hill, driving 30 minutes to practice, driving 30 minutes home. And, I mean, you know how the J community is. It's like here.
Correct. Yeah,
and
yeah,
so, excuse me. I was an assistant my first year. We made it 3 weeks, maybe a month, 2 months into season, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then the next year, I have no idea how, but Coach Watson talked me into coaching basketball.
Okay. Okay.
But I played basketball as well. That was my third sport that I
Right.
played, and I said, look, I will do whatever you ask me to do, but I don't really know what you do, but I'll
Right.
learn. And
Right.
so that was very helpful. You know, I coached JV, but he was sitting there on the bench next to me the whole time. And
Right.
so whenever I came here, I was very hesitant because they were offering me the golf job. And I had always wanted to coach golf. I knew that
Right.
golf was my thing. I did it in college. I know I can develop girls. I can take stuff that I got from college and bring it here. And there's so many drills and things that you learn every day in college. And
Right.
so whenever I came here, they said, you'll get golf and there's an assistant softball job available. And I was like, okay, that sounds great.
Perfect world.
Well,
right?
I was very hesitant at first just because of the like I said, the whole pace thing, and I had just gotten rehired at Berry Hill as a PE teacher, and I've always wanted to do PE, and I didn't want to hurt any feelings at Jay because I love those girls as well.
Right.
But whenever I came here, I mean, it was great, and being a golf head coach is a lot different than out here. I mean, it's just me at golf and the
Right.
boys coach, and he's also very helpful to me. But out here, you know, you have a ton of you out here, and
Right.
you know, you got a bunch of other help. And then the next year when they got rid of the previous coach, someone came to me and said, hey, the head coaching job is open and you need to put in for it. And I was like, you're crazy.
Right.
I'm not doing that. Like 24, 25 years old, I'm not ready for that. And, you know, I had my cousin who works here, he's the baseball coach, told me time and time again, Lexi, you need to do it. You need to put in for it. They want you. And I was like, I'm just not ready for that. I've only
Right.
been an assistant for 3 years, and, you know, that's a lot of pressure. And, you know, again, what 24 or 25-year-old is ready to take over a program like this with
Right.
all the pressure? And I said, okay, well, you know, can I bring my dad along with me?
Yeah.
And I think that was part of the reason why they also wanted me. And, you know, being a female
Right.
was one of the main reasons as well. And it's working out so far.
Okay. A couple questions.
Uh-huh.
One, going back to Brian Watson real quick. He strikes me as kind of like a Ted Lasso character in that he can coach boys. Like
Yes.
Ted Lasso, it doesn't matter what he coaches. He's
Yeah, he's
just a
gonna do
coach,
it, yeah.
right? And Brian Watson, it seems like he can coach boys. He can coach football. He can coach basketball, girls, boys, whatever. What did you learn from him? You said he was by your side working with the JV basketball team.
Yeah.
What did you pick up from him?
Everybody runs practices differently, but it's the same concept.
Yeah.
So at the time, he was doing football as an assistant, basketball, and softball. And I just saw how dedicated he was to everything that he did.
Right.
And whatever he's going to do, he's going to do it 110%.
100%,
And
yeah.
you know, he goes from football practice to straight to basketball practice, and then he goes to softball practice, and you know, I don't know if he ever spends any time at home. And if he does, somebody's calling him to come back up
Right.
and turn on the lights or come do this or whatever.
That's a lesson too.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Right.
And so I just saw, you know, how dedicated he was and
Yeah.
how he did things.
Organized,
and,
probably.
Yes, absolutely. And
Right.
the relationship that he had with the girls, and
Right.
you know, his daughter was playing, and the relationship he had with his parents, his other coaches,
Yeah.
things like that. He was just a great mentor.
Right. Now, transition into how does because like you said, softball's a different sport from even basketball, which is
Yeah.
completely. How does golf help shape you? Being a good golfer, that's a learning to control yourself in an environment where there's literally nobody but you in the course. It's
Yeah.
really you versus you. How does that help you mentally?
I'm not gonna lie, it was very tough.
Yeah.
Because I'll admit this, I'm not very mentally tough some days, and it's hard on the golf course when you hit one out of bounds or you hit a bad shot, and then you look over at my dad in the trees and you see he's gritting his teeth just like he does on the softball field. And thing for him is whenever he grits his teeth and gets mad, it helps him
Right.
play better. Me is the opposite. And
You've got a zen.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And it took me so long to realize if you just come out here and just have fun and talk to the other girls that you're playing with and just be yourself, you'll play so much better.
Right.
And those are the days that, you know, I played well. And then the days that I got mad, and like out here, you get mad, you play better. It's not the same in golf.
Right.
And you just learn so many different things in golf. And although it is an individual sport, it is a team sport as well, because your team is counting on you to shoot low. And
Right.
if you don't, then your score's either not going to count or it's going to cost you.
Right.
And that's what my senior year in conference, I played terrible my first 2 days. I shot in the 80s. I think it was like 87. And then the second day I shot 78 and didn't count. And then the last day I shot even par. And another girl kind of struggled the last day. Well, I mean, not just saying this, but if I didn't play good, if the other girl didn't play good, the other four didn't play well, and we had to count her score, that we wouldn't have won conference.
Right.
And it's not just because of me, obviously, but it does help, you know.
Right. But also you
Shooting 6 strokes lower
regardless
than her.
of that,
Yeah.
you corrected what was wrong the first 2
Yeah.
days, and you overcame individually
Yeah.
the issue. It's funny when you say you don't know how tough you are. I was listening to a conversation. This is a different world altogether, but Al Pacino, around the time he was doing The Godfather, was asked on like a Good Morning America type show, "Are you a tough guy?" And if you don't know, Pacino came from the stage. He was not like a Stallone type guy, right? And he said, "I think we're all tough." And I think what he was really saying was, because he said, I'm not like a physical, if you do have self-doubt and you answer those bells anyway, then you may be tougher than the person who can somehow manage to like completely not realize that there's issues on the other side of self-doubt, right?
Yeah.
They don't have self-doubt. So it's just going forward all the
Yeah.
time. But being able to say, I don't know for sure if I can do the head coaching job, right? Which is funny because you didn't know for sure if you could do the head coaching
Yeah.
job. John Adams, who's the athletic director here, told me it was a no-brainer they hired you,
Oh,
right?
that's very nice.
So, and I don't think he'll mind me saying
No,
that, right?
I don't think so either, because
Right.
he wasn't the AD at the time, but he was one of the ones that, you know,
Was in
was
on it,
really
yeah.
pushing me. Hey, you need to
Right.
do this. You need to do this, and I was
Right.
like, okay.
Right, but also, but again, too, you're smart enough to go. What advantages does he bring to the table, bringing him in? Is it
Yeah.
experience or?
Yeah, definitely. This one, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
I just
Coach
wanna make
Worrell.
sure,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one, the experience. He's played softball his whole life. He played professional softball, and although it wasn't fast pitches, slow pitch, same concept.
Yeah.
You know, he's great at pitch calling. He's knows the game, and you know that was. I think I wouldn't do this without him. And,
Right.
He tells me all the time, no, you need to keep doing it, even if I get out at some point. You know, whenever that day may be.
Yeah.
You need to keep doing it. I'm like, Dad, I'm not doing this without you. And, you know, he's my right hand man, even though we argue or I'll,
Right.
no, what are you doing? You know,
Yeah.
but that's just father-daughter
do you-
relationship.
Does
you know?
that happen in like front? What's my question? My question is it like the whole not in front of the kids thing with the team, or do you kind of go back and forth sometimes around?
Well, we have a very good relationship, and although like if we do argue, it's not like if the girls see it, it's not like, oh gosh, they're arguing.
Right.
You know, it's they see that our relationship, and they know what our relationship
Right.
is. And I mean, there's been a time or two where, you know, they've seen it, but it's nothing, you know.
Right. Well, okay, that's a lesson too, though.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you work with people, right?
Yeah.
And having conversations that are not hunky-dory is a part of employment.
Yeah.
It's a part of being married. It's a part of
Yeah.
being a child. It's a part of
Yeah.
being a father. And if you can't have those conversations,
Exactly, yeah.
and for them to see that, and then within 4 minutes,
Yeah.
see that script flipped and everybody being on the same page again,
Yeah.
that's a lesson for them as well.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny because, you know, he has his philosophy of the lineup. I've kind of taken in his philosophy, and in that the past several years, we kind of get one and stick to it, and maybe sometimes it's too long. But for instance, a couple years ago, Tatum Hastings, she was just struggling, and he said, "Don't move her; she's gonna lose her confidence." And I was like, "Dad, maybe she'll get confidence if we move her down a little bit." And I mean, he's written 8,000 lineups in his life. He's coached however many people. He's
Right.
played however many games in his life. And he's like, "Lexi, just trust me. She's going to get a hit at some point. Like, then she's going to get her confidence.
Right.
She'll be just fine." And so we were playing in Panama City, and the bases were loaded, and she comes out and then hits a grand slam.
Right.
He looks at me across from third base and goes, "I told you, I told you." And so that's a funny thing.
Right, and now she wins Player of the Week awards in
Yeah.
the nationally, right?
Yeah, so that was funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, same with some of the girls now. The girls, it's funny. They're very respectful, but you know, sometimes they're like, "Well, why is she hitting here? Why is she hitting here? And why don't we do this here?" But that's just girls in general. And
That's
then,
anybody.
You know, yes, of course. And then whenever they do something like, "This is why we do this.
Right.
This is why we do certain things. This is why she's batting behind this person. This is why we don't steal her at this point because we have this person coming up." And you know,
Right.
so
Right. Okay, so I'll tell you what, this is a great time. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about this year's ball club after this. Thank you for watching Surrounded by Sports. Thank you for watching this episode. I hope you go back and watch other episodes. I hope you have been watching these episodes. This is my way of chasing knowledge and finding out how sports and life can intersect. I think it's a fantastic way to learn the life lessons that we need. I think that we fall back on lessons we learn as young people throughout our lives to try to be better. Faust Builders, McCory Homes, Sideline Sports Bar, DNS Enterprises, and MEG Financial Inc. have all been financial supporters of this show. They allow me to take the time I need and go find knowledge where I can, try to create a platform that can highlight athletic events, successful people in the community who have helped others learn through sports, and that is I just appreciate it so much. It's wonderful. If you would like to get involved, there is a way to do that. You can reach out to me at surroundedbysportskp@gmail.com. You can message me on any of the social media platforms that I'm on, because if you're watching this on YouTube, great, but I put out highlights a couple times a week from sporting events. I put out clips of these, short clips of these interviews, so you can go back and see little things and see if maybe you're interested in some of those. Please subscribe. Please comment when you can. Follow on all those medias if you want to help support this platform. Also, you can, like I said, reach out and find me, and we can try to figure out a way that you can help roll this ball forward. Thank you so much. And again, thank you, Faust Builders, McCory Homes, Sideline Sports Bar, DNS Enterprises, and MEG Financial Inc. for making all this possible. Now back to the show. Welcome back, folks. Let's talk about this year's ball club. First, well, real quick though, who handles what? You got multiple coaches here. I think your AD is actually a JV coach, which
Yes.
I'm not sure is common at schools.
No.
That tells you though how much you guys are all involved with one another, right?
He said that he probably wasn't going to be able to do it, and I was like, "No, that's not an option. You have to be out here." He's very, very dry, but the girls love him.
Yeah.
And he's very serious, and
Yeah.
he's hard on the kids, which is good. And
He's
he
serious,
has
but
high
he's easy.
Yes,
He's
yes.
easy to be around. Yeah.
He has high expectations for the girls because he knows that their potential, and I think that sometimes, they take it hard, but that's just being a girl, and
Right.
I took things harder than I should have sometimes, but him, and then I have 2 freshman coaches. It was Coach Dillashaw's been doing this for years,
Right.
and then Coach Bear, and then excuse me, Coach Jack Poling. She played, or it's Buckley now. She just got married.
Okay. Congratulations.
Yes, she played at UWF, and at the time we didn't have an on paper varsity assistant coach, and her boyfriend at the time reached out to me and said he coaches baseball over here for Coach McBride, and texted me and said, "Hey, do you have a position open for softball? My girlfriend thinks that she wants to coach." And I was like, "Okay, well, what's her background? Played at UWF. Okay, well, let's talk to her." And at the time, she was teaching first grade at Benny Russell, and so she came, did an interview, and I was like, "Okay, we're close to the same age. She played in college. That'll help having another female with me." But now she has gone down to the JV level, and it's nothing that she's done, but
Right.
it was just schedule
Right. Correct.
conflict. And then I have him, obviously, but get to him in a second. And then Coach Sweeney, she coached with him at Milton, and her daughter played for him, and played for my husband too whenever he was coaching there. And we've known her for a while and known the kind of person that she is, and she just go with the flow, do whatever you ask her to do. And
Right.
Sometimes I'm sure she probably gets annoyed with us because she might feel out of the loop or whatever, but she has such a great personality, and that she'll just, "Hey, will you go do that?" "Yeah, absolutely. I'll go do whatever
Right.
you ask me to do." And she can pitch, she can do whatever, and so she kind of works more in the cages and front toss, bunts,
hitting,
that
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of thing. And then Coach Johnny has been working with the outfield a lot, and nobody really has a specific, like, "Hey, you're doing this and only this." And Coach Johnny does work with the outfield, so they kind of know that that's their coach, but at the same time, we can all do whatever at any
Right,
point.
right.
And he works with the pitchers and catchers,
Right.
and I kind of stay out of that unless I need to be down there, of
Right.
course. But he does a great job calling pitches, and you see me signaling the pitches, but he's calling them because he can't read the sheet.
Right.
But
Right.
But again, I'm not the kind of coach that's, "Hey, I'm in charge. I'm the head coach. I'm gonna do this." And
Delegate.
yeah, exactly. Because if I take the load of everything, that's too difficult.
Right.
And I have help for a reason, and I'm gonna use it. And he's just as much of a coach as I am,
Right.
and he's done this 25 times longer than I have. So I just think that us coaches work well together, and sometimes things don't always go to plan, but he can take them in any time that he wants to. Coach Johnny can, Coach Jack, Coach, so we work well together. And
Right. Yeah, I do. Real quick, Coach, I've noticed this. You said that you don't know for sure how, sometimes you have worries about how well you're doing things, but I've noticed you do not take no very well. You've told me that Coach Adams was thinking about hanging it up. You've talked about she when she's ready to put her foot down, it happens, huh?
It does. She and I'm not saying she does a great job of letting her coaches coach. She kind of
Sure.
we always tell our players, "Hey, learn, the more positions you play, the better chance you have."
100%.
Of getting in the lineup. The same thing with coaches. If I go hit, cause I'm like her, I can go hit outfield, infield. She can work pitchers, and Lexi's very good. And I think anybody that's ever coached for her knows that. And I've always told her, let your assistants coach. When I was at Milton, I had great assistants.
Yeah.
And that's a key. I mean, you really do. We'd all coach travel ball together, and then I coach Johnny Norton is here now, and we were very successful when we were at Milton, fortunately. And I just, Coach Adams wouldn't tell you this, but I think JV's lost one game a year for the last 3 years. That's
Right.
unheard of.
Right. He did tell me that.
Yeah, that's well, he tells us all the time he's done better than us. I mean, he's allowed to fire Lexi at any time, but I always tell her, "Hey, you can fire me at any time. Trust me.
Right.
I'm retired. I mean, fire me if you need to anytime.
Yeah.
It wouldn't hurt my feelings, but
Right.
it's been a good run. We got a great administration here too. The administration here is just awesome.
Right.
They work with us, and that's huge.
So talk to me about, this ball club, right? Who leaps out at you offensively so far this year? I mean, obviously you got kids hitting 450s,
to me, Cam Pierce and Gracie Ubroff, without a doubt. You
Right.
know, their stats, both of them around 500 for the year with a lot of home runs. I think
Yeah.
Cam's got 9 home runs. Is that right? Gracie's got 6, I think. You know,
Yeah.
and then Britt Kettler's come on, and then we've had a couple kids. Haley Olivet's come on. She was a first-year starter, and Ashley Pickard has done very well for us.
Right.
And then a kid named Kennedy Franz. I mean, we didn't know she'd start this year, and she's batting over 400 and hit 4 home runs.
Right.
She's been a pleasant surprise. You know?
Absolutely.
And so our offensive number, we were talking about before you got here, Kevin. We've hit 31 home runs this year. Shelby McKenzie them smashed the pace high record, from what I understand, with 44 the year they won state.
Right. I saw when I looked at your stat line, it was like 6, 3, 3, but all the way down. Does Kylie Reed have a lot of home runs?
No,
I'm trying to
she-
remember.
No, she just
Somebody a little further down the list.
Layla Loomis hit one.
Okay,
Second
there you go.
baseman who
Right.
can fly, and she's mainly a slapper, bunter, or whatever, and she can hit some gap doubles. She had a home run against Milton first time hit
Right.
at center field.
I saw Olivet hit a home run here.
Olivet's hit 4.
Yeah. She can hit it.
She can. She's worked the weight. She's a kid that really has progressed. She's got in our system. Mom and Dad are great supporters of the program,
Right.
like you said, and they'll do anything you ask them. And she didn't even make our good JV team the first year. And we kept saying, hey, you got to watch Olivet. She keeps getting better and better.
Right.
And she's got on a weight program and just done well.
I was told, and tell me if this is true, that every athlete here takes weightlifting at the school, not just.
not necessarily.
Okay.
But it is very close.
Yeah. I mean, you got a state championship
Yeah.
weight program here,
Oh, yeah,
so they know what
absolutely.
they're doing.
Yes.
He's great.
Yeah, Ty does a great job at knowing what to do with the weights, and
Sport specific as well.
yes.
Okay.
So football, weightlifting, softball has a class, but this is the first year softball's been able to get in the weight room, which is funny because I'm in the weight room 5 classes a day, and then I don't get it 6th period. But
But now you do.
yes,
All right, yeah.
because there was 2 teachers in that class, so it was just full and it didn't work out.
Right.
But baseball can have it at any point. The ones that we don't really see, but they could still be in our class, it's just not the whole team, is soccer, swim, volleyball,
Yeah.
flag, those
Right.
kinds of things. But that doesn't mean they don't take the class. It's
Right.
just not every single athlete.
Right.
But the vast majority is.
Right.
So-
Do you believe firmly in weight training for the softball player?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the girls have really seen it this year because Layla's a small kid, but she's strong as crap. And,
Right.
you know, she hit one out this year. Haley
Right.
Olivet, she weighs just over 100 pounds, but
She put a charge into it.
Yeah, she's one of those sneaky kids. She about tore down the fence the other day whenever she hit a line drive, just missile. But she's one that could hit them out, and you just don't expect that out of her because of her size. And I think she's one that gets overlooked, but she's on Coach Wise's weightlifting team. And I think the ones who haven't worked the weights before, just because they just haven't had anywhere to go, I think they really notice a difference. And I think, last year we had 31 home runs, and I
Yeah,
think
that
we're at,
sounds about right.
33 this
We're
year?
31 right now.
Oh, okay, so
Last year may have been 28, I think.
yeah, so we've already beat last year's home run record
Right.
the whole season, and so I think that they can really tell a difference. And we've even had some that don't start every game; they've came off the bench and hit one out. So that's fun to see.
Now, tell me about Hannah DeMarcus, because she's obviously a player of the year type of player.
Yeah,
How good is it to have somebody like that to lean on? Because
Yeah.
to me, like you said, softball, right? Except for the pitcher,
yeah,
right? Once the ball's in play, it's the same game.
yeah,
But of course, the most important player in any game is the pitcher. But
Yeah.
in softball, very much so.
yes. And I think with Hannah, when she's on, she's on. When she's off, she's still on, and that's crazy because. We've had a couple games this season, and she would even tell you this, that she didn't throw that great, but she's still having double-digit strikeouts.
Right.
And you're like, she really didn't throw that great. Oh, well, she still had 15 strikeouts. Well, that's still pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Which is good. Her ball just so spinny, and she works hard. She goes to lessons on the weekends, and this year she hasn't thrown necessarily as many innings and hasn't had as many strikeouts.
Is that by design?
Not really, but yes.
A little bit by scheduling.
It's
Yeah,
scheduling too, yeah. And some of our games have only lasted 5 innings, which is great,
Yeah,
and so
right.
that takes away 2 innings.
Yeah.
But there was a couple games this last week, and she kind of messed something up in her arm, but it's nothing serious. She's back this week,
Need
and
some
so
time off.
yes,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
just there's no reason to risk an injury.
Sure,
come,
of course.
For now, whenever we need you in playoff time. But that's why her stats are a little bit lower this year. But I mean, she's
the same player.
yeah.
Right.
Zoe
So-
Freeman came in and threw real well,
Yes.
too. So
Right,
that's another reason
absolutely.
We could give Hannah some rest because she had just a little strain in her tricep, and
Yeah.
and so we just did that with Hannah. But what Hannah did last year was unreal. I mean, to come
Sure.
in and throw 418 strikeouts when Jaden threw 322 the year before, and we thought nobody's going to
Best player ever. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, so both of them were just
Yeah.
freaks, and Jaden was incredible too. But
Yeah.
and the thing about Hannah last year, Kevin, she got hot at the end of the year in 5 playoff games. Not counting the district, you got 3 regional games and 2 state. She gave up 1 run in 5 games. That's unheard of.
That's crazy.
It gave us a chance to win state because we probably wasn't. Last year we wasn't expected to even be there, and then we got out there and I said, "Dog, we can win it. She's hot."
Right. Well, here's the thing too. Okay, I think pitchers are what it takes to go to the mound, and all the weight is. The baseball team changes every time a person puts their toe to the rubber, right? If you pull him out, put a new guy in, it's a completely different team because it's a different pitcher. Softball, it's the same person, and the mentality. A baseball pitcher, they throw 6 nowadays in the bigs, 5.5, and they get $1 million. Good for them.
Yeah.
But they don't have to turn around and do it again for 5 days. When you're a starter, you're basically at your level at softball. You're basically a closer, but you're doing the inning work of a starting pitcher, right? So the mentality it takes to be able to answer that bell every day. What does that take?
I mean, I know it's tough on them, but I mean, it's softball, like you said. You can throw the same person every day. I mean, I've seen
Right.
some guy gets time, and we try to make sure Hannah gets rest, but we always check on her arm. I mean, we always say, hey,
Right.
if you got any tightness, any still, let us know, getting you out. Yeah,
She has to be a bulldog, though.
she is. Yes, yeah. And Jaden was the same way too. Jaden,
Yeah.
right before it was great, and it stinks.
You
'cause
can't do
Zoe-
that without being that.
No, that's right. And Zoe Freeman right behind is always a great pitcher.
Right.
She's stuck behind a freak,
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
I mean, but Zoe's had a good attitude and came in and got a lot of innings for us. That's another reason we've been able to give it innings because Zoe came in the last 2 games and threw shutout innings every game.
Right.
And so she's going to be pretty good too. But it just, like you said, it's hard because you can roll Hannah out there every day if she feels good.
Yeah.
And it's hard not to roll the Gatorade Player of the Year out there every day.
Yeah, of course.
We had a parent get a little upset last year, I think, because her daughter didn't pitch as much as she wanted to. But I'm like, she's starting it in the infield, 3-year starter for us. I mean, that she's not our best pitcher, so we're going to play where we feel like we need to win.
Right. What needs to go right to because you've won state here, and that was something that had not been done since 2007. So things had to go right. What needs to go right this year for you to be playing in that state tournament or holding up the trophy at the end?
We tell our girls just take it one game at a time, and it does take a little bit of luck to get there, but it also takes skill. And like you said in the past, the last few years, there's been so much pressure on the girls. Oh, y'all should win it. Y'all should win it. Y'all should win it. Y'all should. Well, yeah, we should, and so should 5 other teams that are there. And I think it's just being able to hit those kind of pitchers, being able to scramble a run here and there, and especially with Hannah, like you said, she's only going to give up a run or 2 most of the time.
Right.
And so if we could scramble a run, most games we got a pretty dang good chance to win.
Right.
And when we get down to the Final Four, there's teams that are just as good as us or better.
Sure.
And for instance, the year that we won, he's talked about it a little bit, but the 5 teams that were down there, they have all 5 of those pitchers are playing on TV now.
Right.
Right. You got one pitching at FSU who didn't even make it to the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
She got beat by the girl who is pitching at Florida right now, the Caitlin Oxley Red. Girl who's pitching at UCLA right now. Girl who's starting at UCF right now. And then you have Jaden who's at LSU. Like, those 5 teams are just as good or better than us. I mean,
Yeah. Right.
we were obviously the better team that year.
6
which
of one,
was
half
good.
dozen of the other.
Exactly, exactly. And so the best team doesn't always win.
Right.
And do I think, yeah,
Right.
do I think that we are the best team? Yeah, of course. But if I didn't, then, the
Right.
girls wouldn't think so either. Right. And that's what we tell them all the time. And there's a difference between being cocky and confident.
Right.
And our girls have a lot of confidence, which is good. And whenever that cockiness comes out, we
Try to
gotta
dial it
shut
back
it.
a little
Yeah.
bit.
And this group really isn't. which is a good thing.
Right.
So.
I tell you, I played for a pretty good coach, and when we got past local play, he said to us, "Okay, nobody makes errors anymore. So if you make an error, we're done playing." But that's the level we're at now. You know, it was cool. We're playing locally. You guys are really good. That's over.
Yeah.
Nobody makes errors anymore. Nobody swings and misses anymore. The ball gets hit now.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's the level you deal with when you're trying to be great, and it's a level that a lot of people don't get to enjoy trying to play at.
That's right.
You know. Now, the local play here though has risen. Does that help you as far as like prepping for things?
Yeah, absolutely. Every team that we play is not an easy team.
Right.
And they always joke with me, "Dang, we need to fire our scheduler," which is me.
Right.
You know, he's like, "We need a couple easy games." I'm like, "Who? There's really not anybody that we could," or you know, sometimes they're full or whatever.
Right.
You know, and you know, if we played cakewalk teams, like it doesn't get us any better.
Right.
And some of the games that we thought were going to be tough games, our girls came out and played really well, and you know we ended up rolling a couple of those teams, which might not be expected. And you know, playing teams around here, you know, Niceville's got a great pitcher. Several teams around here just have great pitchers, and that only makes us better for the playoff time.
Right.
And whenever you get to the playoff time, we've never seen those teams before, and so it's. Who knows what we're going into? And obviously, you can do a scouting report, but you don't see Navarre's pitcher. We saw them 4 times last year.
Right.
You know, you don't see a team that you see 4 times a year, and you know.
But also though, the adversity that you're dealing with when you have to play at Niceville, who's got a really good pitcher, or South Walton's got a really good player. You know, that dealing with adversity is what helps you get over humps in these playoff games. But also, it's kind of what helps you get over the real humps of life, right?
Exactly. My basketball coach in high school, which wasn't one of my parents, but I still talk to him to this day, and he always told us, when adversity strikes, y'all just shut down, and we have to find a way to get over that. And these girls are very good at. We don't really talk about that a whole lot,
right?
But
well, you try to keep it. I don't want to say light, but I read an article or listened to an interview of yours where you said, "I just wanted to make sure that." There was a lot of pressure on the build-up to trying to win that state title.
Yeah.
And you wanted to make sure they knew, well, you know, sun's going to come up tomorrow. Enjoy what you're doing because this doesn't come around much.
No. And the girls don't realize how hard it is to make it to 5 Final Fours in a row.
Right.
And, you know, starting with the first year, some of those girls were in 6th, 7th, 8th grade. And then they come into high school, and then now they're going. And so 5 years, and now the girls who are seniors in college, you know, they did it, and they're still having girls behind them do just what they did. And so the bar is so high here, and you know, they don't realize the expectation they have set here at Pace High School, and they're still making an impact even though they're seniors in college or juniors, whatever.
But you have to enjoy it.
Yes, absolutely. This is the best time of your life, is high school. And that's what we tell our girls too, because you know, sometimes you get into college and you know, your sport becomes a job, and although it's fun, it's still a job. You get up, you go to 6 a.m. workouts, you go to class, you go to practice after school, and then what time is it? It's 8 o'clock to eat dinner now. And so it's a little different in high school. You go to school, and then you come to practice, and then you go home.
And it's the people you went to elementary school with.
Yes,
you know,
exactly. You've grown up with these girls. Whenever you get to college, I wish I was still around my college friends, but I've got some in Norway, some in Germany. You know, you're going to split up, and those will still be your lifelong friends, but these are the ones who are going to be your lifelong friends, the ones you've grown up with your whole life. And so we've had girls text us. I still talk to Shelby, Jaden, all of them. A bunch of girls that we coached, but I got a text from our catcher last year and said, "Coach, we are so blessed to have y'all as coaches, and I wish I would have remembered that and known that in high school, because it is so different in college." And that meant a lot to us, because sometimes you think, oh, well, you know, this person's probably glad that they're gone, or, you know, this person loved us as coaches, but this person's okay getting other coaches. And she's not one that I thought that about, but, you know, she texted us, and I just wish y'all were still our coaches. And so that was really nice.
It's always the unexpected compliment that gets you where
That's right.
when you didn't know it was coming, when you thought, well, maybe I was a little hard on that guy, and you realize then that guy or that girl comes across something in life, and they go, man, Coach got me ready for that.
Yeah.
And it ain't always a ground ball.
Yep.
You know?
That's right.
How proud are you right now? Let's wrap on that.
Yeah.
I'm very proud. I really am. I'm, you know, like she said earlier, it was a hard switch for me coming to Milton. I've got some people I swear won't speak to me now from Milton, and I understand it. I mean, I've had people come to me, I can't believe you went to Pace. I said, hey, my daughter's there. It's a good school, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, and I get that. It's kind of like the Auburn, Alabama thing. There's some people that, you know, but they don't hate the people, and that was like me and Lex, and we were here. I had a lot of good friends at Pace. I told her I hated Pace. I mean, when I was coaching Milton, I said, in fact, Caroline, my youngest daughter, I told her, y'all never going to lose Pace, because I had them in travel ball. So they never lost Pace. She never lost Pace in 4 years, which that was unheard of, because usually Milton Pace would go, you know, most time Pace would beat Milton. And then we had about an 8-year stretch there where we beat them a lot more than they beat us. And in fact, I think we beat them 9 or 10
Make sure you get that
times.
in.
Yeah, but luckily I'm on this side now, and it's fortunately the wheel's going the other way now, because Milton's doing well here lately, and so we got them tomorrow night. It's going to be a big game, but it's fun. The kids, you know, there's a lot of expectation here with this community, like you said earlier, Kevin. I mean, a lot of these girls grew up playing travel ball together, and I think that's neat. It should mean more to them, you know, because and we did have a transfer to come in this year, and they fit right in well. That happens. That's the nature of the beast now, you know. But they fit in well. They know that, hey, this is the way we're going to run our program. You know, Lexi's done a good job of running a program. And one thing Lexi's done this year good, and we've hit the weights a little bit harder than we have in past. And I think they're doing off season, on season, everything. And I think that's made a big difference. I think the girls are seeing that. That's why I used to always tell my girls, Milton, I had a little trouble because, you know, getting them to buy into lifting weights, because Milton never lifted weights for them. You ain't got kids that are lazy, don't want to lift. I get it. But I said, when you you want to play college softball, okay, you're going to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning going to lift weights every morning. We're waiting to do it in the afternoon after practice, something 3 days a week. If y'all can't do that, then, you know, something's wrong. In that, we had a team win 22 games one year. That was an incredible team. Lexi's junior year that won the district. Milton had never done that. And I think they won their first playoff game that year. And that's what I told them. That you got to attribute a lot of that to weights. It makes you a better athlete. You know? And so
absolutely.
That's what I tell them. If we're going to work hard, she stays after and does hitting lessons. I stay after and do hitting lessons, and Coach Norton does. I mean, last night me and Coach Norton stayed 1 hour after practice. I hit ground balls to kids, and Coach Norton did it. So we love the fact that kids want to work. But hopefully they see that we're working. I could have been home with my wife, and she could have been home with her son.
Absolutely.
But we're out here working extra.
Right. But that's the beautiful thing when you get the environment where everybody is given a little bit extra. And that's kind of what you hope that your wife's going to be, what you hope that your husband will be in the future, your kid, your coworker, all that, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
You just want to keep it going. So I say it's hard to stay on top, you know. They understand that. We've been nationally ranked, I think, 4 years in a row now that we've been here, fortunately. And that's unheard of. You know, that means you got great kids, great parents, and feel like coach staff does a little bit, you know. So,
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kevin.
Did you want to say something?
Oh, it's okay. I was just going to kind of reiterate on the relationship that we have with our girls. And we tell them all the time, like, your family. Whenever you're here, your family. It doesn't matter what's going on outside of school. You don't have to like them outside of the field. But when you're on the field, you know, they're your sisters. And y'all are our daughters. And, you know, there are a lot of other things that the girls probably want to be doing. I'd rather be home with my 1-year-old, but at the same time, these are my daughters now. And same with him. And that I just love the relationship that we have with the girls. And, you know, they see that. And that's the main thing I think that he said from the get-go is a relationship with the girls. And, you know, if you don't have that with them, then they're not going to play hard for you. And that's the thing we told him last night. You're going to play hard for us, and they do. And they play hard for each other, which is good.
Right. Well, and another thing is, too, that's how you work through problems.
Yeah.
Right. Like, okay, if you're at work or, you know, and you say you have an issue with somebody, and it happens.
Yeah.
But, you know, okay, we still got to be here for another 5 hours.
Yeah.
Or, you know, something happens, whatever, we got a problem outside of here, we get in here, and we work together, right? Yeah. And then I make a play, and then you cheer for me. And now whatever happened off, who cares, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's how you get through problems is you just kind of, like everything else, you answer the bell, you keep working, and somewhere down the road, things get better. And they get better with individuals and with people. And thank you so much for giving me your time. Yes. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you doing this with us.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Folks,
Lexi, Coach Worrell, Lexi Alexander, head coach, Pace softball, Coach Danny Worrell, who beat Pace 8 years in a row. Don't forget that. Five in a row. Okay. Folks, thank you for watching. I appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
Awesome.